this is going to be a fun little project for you guys, and I promise you, this one will absolutely make you money. So if you're like me and you're a woodworker, you have this big pile of scraps, and we're always looking for projects that we can utilize those scraps. Now, my wife looks at this pile and she just sees a pile of junk. I see literally hundreds of dollars sitting there. I just have to figure out what to make with it. And this is one of those projects that you can absolutely just find laying on the floor, but will definitely make you money. And you can see I have lots of scraps of fence pickets. So I predominantly, when I'm building these, I predominantly will use fence pickets. But you could also just simply take a leftover. See, I've got a bunch of 2x6s, 8s, and 10s, just little scrap pieces. You see those little scrap pieces? You could definitely make this project with those. Just rip you some slats. Now, we're using 1¼ inch stock. And the reason that we're using 1¼ inch stock for our bits here is because with my table saw, the blade, the curve of my table saw, I can get 4 1¼ inch sticks out of one width of fence picket, okay? So that's why I'm using 1¼ inch, but you'll see that this doesn't actually have to be 1¼ inch. It could be an inch. It could be 7/8. I mean, for what we're building, the width of this is really not all that critical, okay? So again, we're using 1¼ inch stock here. So let me just kind of walk you through the parts here. It's really a simple project. So we have one piece that is 10 3/4, and that's a full width of 5.5 inch fence picket. And then we have 4 pieces of 1¼ inch stock that are 12 inches, and then we have 4 pieces that are 8 inches, and then we have 2 pieces that are 6 inches. So 6, 8, and 12 there. Okay, so we try to keep the dimensions really simple for you. Now, we are going to need some additional 1¼ inch stock. I'll explain why we're not cutting that to length right at this moment. And normally I wouldn't start a project out like this, but I am going to suggest that you go ahead and just make you a jig, because you're definitely going to want to make a bunch of these. I promise you, these will absolutely sell. A quick little story. I was at a street vending show, and me and another gal who sold similar items to myself both had a booth side by side, and then a third gal that we know real well had a booth right next to us. Well, me and this one gal, you know, she had kind of her own niche thing, but she set up this huge elaborate display, had beautiful things. I mean, really beautiful things. And she was there to kind of promote her store and things. And I was there kind of doing a similar thing. I wanted to make money, but yes, I was there to promote my store too. But I had, you know, different things that I thought were just really cool, really different. But then this other gal, she just had a little pop-up tent, and she sold little tiny things, you know, little whatnots. But what was funny at the end of the day, that one gal who was selling all those tiny little whatnots, she outsold us, both of us combined, 3 to 1. I mean, she was selling stuff, and she said, yeah, she says, when I do these street shows, now she didn't have a store like we did and this other gal did, so she wasn't promoting her store. She was there just to sell things and make money. She's like, yeah, when I do these street shows and stuff, I like to sell small items, because and we were selling big furniture pieces and big items, you know, and people aren't really there with the idea. They might love it, but geez, how do I get it home type situation. So she's like, yeah, I just sell the tiny things. It's easy to pack in my car and bring to the show, and it's easy for people to decide to buy right then and there. You know, it's kind of an impulse purchase. And so anyhow, it makes a lot of sense. So this is one of those items that you literally have piles and piles of wood sitting around you can put together, and your kids can put this together. It's so simple once you understand how all the parts work, that you're going to want to build a bunch of them. It's a small price point. Basically, the materials aren't going to cost you much, if anything. A lot of this material can be got from like fence companies who are building fences, and they got all those scraps. You go around, pick them up. I used to do that when I was in Texas. Texas had fencing was a big thing down there. In Kansas City, doesn't seem to be as much as like Texas. Like every single house had a fence, and so they had all these fence companies, but they had all these scraps. A lot of time they'd leave them at the street, but I would actually go up to them while they're building the fence and say, "Hey, give me the addresses of all your fence projects. I'll go around and pick up all these scraps," because you can build things with them. And construction sites and things and whatnot, we can find all this scrap wood. Okay, so basically the material is free, so it's just a matter of putting it together. We're going to be using our Ryobi narrow crown stapler, a cordless stapler with 1-inch staples, because we're using 5/8 inch thick stock. But so the first thing I want to do is talk to you about going ahead and knocking out a jig real quick, because this, like I said, you're going to want to make a bunch of these, and it's going to be super easy for you to do with this jig. So let me show you what I did here. Just literally scraps. Okay, so this one here is 7.5 inches, and we got 30-degree angles, and it's 2 inches wide. Now I should point out too that we have plans for this. I don't think this is really a project that you need a plan for, but we do have plans available. The information's in the listing description of how to get the plan. It's $5, and we have it all detailed out for you. And we actually give you 2 different picnic table sizes too, because I built this one and one that's slightly larger. And the slightly larger one is built in a similar way, but it's designed to fit the 18-inch dolls. And we also have a bench that goes with the plan too. So you get a little garden bench, and you get 2 size picnic tables. Okay, like I said, it's a little bit bigger than this one, but it's designed. You can use it as a plant stand and things because it's a little bit bigger. But it will fit the 18-inch American Girl dolls. Okay, but you could sell it at a similar price point and still be making money. But anyhow, let's get to the jig. So this piece is 2.5 inches wide. This piece is whatever you want it to be. Okay, the bottom piece is irrelevant. This happens to be 1.25 inch stock. And then what I've done here is I put a 30-degree angle. So we're going to connect these 2 pieces. So this is going to be flush here, flush on the side, and we're going to connect these 2 pieces. And that will become our jig. Okay, and we're going to see how we're going to use our jig here momentarily. But that is the jig. Okay, so just to kind of recap, we need a 2-inch wide piece here that needs to be 7.5 inches, and it needs to have a 30-degree bevel. Okay, and then we're just going to take these little pieces. These have 30-degree miters on them as well, and we're just going to connect these 2. Flush here, flush here, flush here. Okay, now this can overhang like this if you want. Now I did put a little tick mark there somewhere here, because I'm actually going to see my little tick mark. I'm actually going to go ahead and cut those off camera and make it flush for my little jig. Okay, so let me go ahead and put my little jig together, and then we have to add some miters to some of these pieces. So on 2 of these pieces of 12-inch stock, we're going to add a 30-degree miter on both ends. Okay, on our 6-degree pieces, again, 30-degree miter on both ends. And then all of our 4 8-inch pieces, we need a 30-degree miter, but on these it has to go parallel. So it's going to go this way, and it's going to go this way. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do all that off camera, and I'll come back and show you exactly what I did there. So there I have my little jig made. You can see that there. It's flush on this side, flush up top, flush on this side. And I went ahead and made it flush on the bottom. So again, these are 30-degree inch cuts, right? This piece is 2 inches wide, 7.5 inches long, 30-degree cuts on both sides. Okay, so then here's my 6-inch piece. You can see those 30-degree miters there. You can see my 4 8-inch pieces and the 30-degree miters. See, these go the opposite direction where these are going the same. Okay, 8-inch pieces, 4 of those 30 degrees. And then we have our 2 12-inch pieces. Okay, so what we're going to do is we just take on our jig here, we take one of our legs and put it there. And then we're going to take our other leg and put it there. So you can see so far, that's really simple, right? And then we're going to put our piece up top. Okay, now you're gonna, obviously on this, you're gonna want this flush to the top, just like that. And you could just eyeball this. You'll get good enough where you can just eyeball it centered. It is roughly right there on the corner on both sides. It's pretty simple stuff. And then our 12-inch piece goes right across the top, just like that. Now make sure that your feet are sitting in the jig just right. And again, on our piece here, you'll get good enough where you can just eyeball that the distance from here to here is roughly the same as here to here. We could put a center line on our jig if you wanted to, and you could add a center line to our 12-inch piece and line those two up, and then you would know for sure you're centered up. But I just don't feel like it's necessary. You know, like I said, you can eyeball that close enough, okay? So, and then obviously we're gonna use our 1-inch staples. So put 2 at every intersection there. And then obviously we're gonna build 2 frames just like this. So let me go ahead and get those frames made, and then we'll move on. Well, there you have it. So you can see, really, really simple to do that way. Now, what I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video is we didn't make our seat boards, and I forgot to do that. So our seat boards are 2-inch wide material that will be 12 inches long. So I will have to pull out a piece of scrap and make our seat boards so we're able to put these together. Our next step though is, now that we have our frames together, is we're gonna go ahead and build our top. And now the reason that I have these extra 1.25 inch wide, I like to put a lip around my top just like this, and we'll talk more about that, some different options. But the reason we didn't cut those to a specific size is because we need to cut them the width of this. Now this technically should be 5.5, but with shrinkage, and they're not always perfectly 5.5, so that's why I like to just line it up. It'll be flush on this side, make a mark, and cut 2 pieces, the actual width of our picnic table top. So let me go ahead and mark that and do that, and then we're going to just attach with some 1-inch staples. We'll attach a lip all the way around. All right, let me bring you up to speed here on what we've done kind of off camera. I just want to show you some things. So you can see here, we now have a little lip around our tabletop here. And what I've done is on the top side, I've just taken some 1.25 inch stock and I cut me a little block, and I'm just gonna put a line there. And what that line will tell me is underneath, just to the inside of that line, is where this piece is. So what I did is I came in from the outside 1.5 inch and drew a line, and then just to hold my legs temporarily, okay, I just popped me in a couple of staples. So I feel like that's just easier for me to do. Get these positioned on the bottom the way we need it, left to right, and you can see I'm right on that line, and it just pop us a staple. You could just use 1 staple, or in this case you can see I used 2, but we could just 1 staple is enough to hold it so we can staple it from the top. And we'll use those guidelines that we made as a guide as to where this cleat is on the top side. Okay, so basically that's, and then I will add in our seat boards, and our seat boards are 12 inches long, 2 inches wide. Okay, and I haven't made my seat boards yet, but I'm gonna. So let me go ahead and pop these down, and then we'll kind of move on from there. So now I have my 2 inch wide, 12 inch long seats on here, and that, my friends, is basically your finished little table. Now let's talk marketing for a little bit. What options do we have available? Well, one thing we could do is we could just leave it just like it is. Now you are going to want to get some staging pieces, some little staging pieces. You could do some pretty little rocks. You could do a candle and a little faux greenery. Succulents are big right now, couple of faux succulents with a little tea light candle, a little battery operated tea light candle. But you definitely want to stage these up because they look super cute. Now, I would just sell these out the door for 10 bucks a pop, and you'll sell all kinds of them. Could you get more for it? I think you probably could. You know, I'll take a sander, sand off any pencil lines I have. You could see what I did. So I made that line with that a scrap of a 1.25 inch that I had laying around, but I needed to go just to the outside. Okay, you can see here, did the same thing, and that will catch that top cleat underneath. And you can see the staples aren't really showing through. So at any rate, you definitely want to do that. Sand those off. So you could sell it just like this. Now, I will sometimes go ahead and drill a hole in the center and have a little succulent or some type of little ivy or something in there where they could drop in a little flower pot and it would sit in here. The other thing you could do is have one set up with some bird feed. That's why I put this lip on. You just set that outside on the table, and then little birds can come and nibble away. Don't have to really worry too much about the water because this is not watertight, this perimeter here, so the water should just run off for you. So that's another option. And in fact, what I do is I actually sprinkle some real bird feed and have a little fake bird. You know, you can go to Hobby Lobby or Walmart or wherever and get a couple little fake birds and just sit right in there. You could hot glue it in there, whatever you want it to do. To say, oh yeah, wouldn't that be a cute little bird feeder? So there are definitely some options. You could put a little bit higher lip where they could actually put some dirt in here and plant their own succulents or maybe even some herbs or something like that. It'd be a cute little herb planter. All kinds of ideas. But, you know, if we're out there at a craft show or something or a flea market or whatever, we have to give them the ideas. So we'll have a bunch of these set up, various different scenarios, and let them pick and choose and just have a bunch of these. You can see we got a huge pile. We could make all kinds of those. Okay? So that's my idea. Really simple to do. You know, once you build one, you can see how that jig, the little bitty jig that we set up, will help us build these real quick and easy. You know, this is a pretty safe gun. My kids are a little bit older. I have a little baby girl 4, but my older kids, 10, 12, and 14, they can all handle this and build these. And I pay them $2 a piece, knock out all they want. So the kids, you know, they like building these, and they like getting paid. And you know, the quicker they are, the more money they can make. Because I'll pay them $2 a piece to build these all day long. I'll cut all the parts for them, and they just put them together. So that's it for this one. I hope you give this one a try. Because like I said, I think you'll find that you'll be able to sell these little guys pretty simple. At the end of the video, I'll have a couple of pictures of some finished ones, just to give you some more staging ideas and things. But again, the plans are available. The information's in the description below. I don't really think you'll need plans once you build a couple, but if you want plans, they are available. So thanks for watching. So you can see a cute little plant or some little whatnots can make this little picnic table super cute. I just grabbed a few apples and a little flower and just stuck it on there just to show you. You know, another thing you could do with these as far as for marketing when you're out at shows and things is maybe rig one up for wedding favors. So you on the tabletop, you know, you could sprinkle some, you know how they do the little dinner mints and things, but you know, you could put the couple's initials. So you could just put a couple of initials and a wedding date or something like that, just to give away as wedding gifts, little centerpieces or something. If you're doing an outdoor wedding, it could be kind of cute. So just all kinds of little ideas for you. But like I said, these are cute little benches and a lot of different things you could do. So the plans, you'll get a little garden bench design, And then you'll get the bigger bench that's similar to this, that for the 18-inch American Girl dolls that you could sit at. Or like I said, they're a little bit bigger bench, so you could, the seat's wider, so you could put some plants, some little succulents, and some plants on top of the table and stuff, just for outdoor use or indoor, I guess, too. But so that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you don't mind a little bonus content. As I was looking at my fence, I saw this cleat just sitting here in the background, and one of the things I don't like when I'm making videos or taking photos is I don't like that cleat showing. I was like, I put it there for another project. So I thought, well, what could I could do that. I could just modify this picnic table and have it sitting up there like that. So really simple modification there. So you can see I have my cleat mounted to my fence, and so it's got a 45-degree angle, and then the picnic table, set this, has kind of an opposite 45-degree angle now on that end, so it just will sit right on that cleat like so. And then we could put some flowers, or we could put some birdseed, or do both. Put your little flower there, sprinkle some birdseed on there, and birds can come, or the squirrels can come and eat off. I actually made one of these when we had chickens, and the chickens would eat the feed off of there. But definitely, if you're going to a show or something, and you definitely have some of these that will hang on the wall like that, because it's a super cute idea. And this is something that you just can't go to Walmart and buy. So this is something, that you're gonna have to, if you want something like this, you're gonna have to build it yourself or buy it from someone. So at any rate, you could still do the same thing. Sprinkle some birdseed on there and have the birds come and eat, or put some nuts or something that the squirrels would like, and the squirrels could come and eat off of your little picnic table. So just a little bonus tip for you. It just came to me as I was closing out the previous video. I saw this cleat hanging on the wall. I was like, man, I'm gonna cover that up with this picnic table. So there you go. Thanks for watching.